More about that next month at the Coffee with the Curator. But today we have a new speaker who hasn't been a part of the program. Leigh Wilson has been with our staff for a number of years since we've moved into this new building, helping us to make all of our events run smoothly. She's worked very closely with our security department, and over the years she has developed a great interest in art theft and the prevention of art theft. So with that, I will step aside. Please join me in welcoming Leigh Wilson.
My name is Leigh. I've been with the Dalí Museum about 5.5 years now, and I'm on my 6th anniversary in February. So I'm very honored to be here to discuss art theft and how to steal art. Not really, I like my job, I want to keep it. So today we're going to talk about 3 types of art. Today we're going to talk about types of art theft, prevention and education, and famous art thefts throughout history. According to the FBI and Interpol, theft from collections held by cultural institutions is the 3rd largest illegal trade after drugs and weapons. The numbers that we're going to talk about today are staggering. So to go into some types of art theft, how do people steal art? We have the standard smash and grab. A heist of this style almost never occurs, and the majority of these kinds of art thefts are inside jobs, so the first people that the police question are the employees and security guards of the institution. The thieves often do not get caught, and if they do, they serve very small prison sentences in relation to the magnitude of the theft, because it's generally considered just grand larceny. The FBI equates art theft to the theft of history, as it's impossible to replace, and the pieces that are missing are often lost and gone forever. So just to get us started, they've got a couple of videos for you.
I did it!
Did what?
I climbed this mountain!
Well, I saved hundreds on my car insurance from Geico.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
No problem.
Of course, come on, don't tell me you don't know how to do that.
How did you get by the laser field in the Great Hall?
Aha. Laser fields. Well.
A little unrealistic. This is another scene from the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair.
Convicted.
My dear me.
Your person's got it. Close, clean.
Do you right now?
repente te deja arriba con un piquilla.
Excuse me. What do you think you're doing?
Yes.
What?
Upstairs, send it down, we have this exhibit. They've got some VIPs coming through.
I didn't hear about it. I oversee this section.
Go upstairs if you like.
You're right. They've been having people down here all week.
These scenes make for good movies, as long as Chris Brosnan doesn't try to sing. So some other types of art theft, it's going to be theft through deception. Swindlers use culture to dupe the culture. Basically, you have a lot of people that are taken out to an art gallery or something overseas and are wine and dine with lots of alcohol and trying to be talked into buying lots of artwork. These are through commission forgeries. They have typically fake signatures, counterfeit certificates of authenticity, and are sold at unreasonably high prices. A little known fact, in my research, I discovered certified fraud examiner specializing in art and forgery research, John Dodd, claims that the chance of getting an actual Dalí is 1 in 1,000. Some experts have even gone so far as to state that over half of all artwork on sale online is fake. So the biggest thing you can do is do your research and ask lots of questions. Just going into a couple of deception cases, in 2008, online, the FBI's Deal or No Deal operation uncovered fake prints by Dalí, Picasso, Chagall, and Warhol on eBay. The fakes had forged signatures, fabricated certificates, and inflated prices of over $50,000. This particular deception made more than $5 million profit for the con artist. The image here is a gentleman with the Munich police holding recovered fakes that were recovered by his office. In New York in 2000, the art dealer Eli Stockheim ran an art forgery sweatshop in his gallery attic. He had Chinese workers copy minor works by major impressionist and post-impressionist artists, and was later discovered when Christie's and Sotheby's tried to sell the same painting by Paul Gauguin at the same time. Forgery and fakery is actually so prevalent that the galleries are starting to discover, even in their own collections, that they have fakes or forged artwork and are now starting to put them on display. The National Gallery in London and the Getty Museum have mounted exhibitions of the fake works found in their own collections. This is a close-up of Rembrandt, and on the left is Maya's of the old woman asleep. And when I was in London a few years ago, I actually got to see this exhibition, and it was amazing. So this is a detail from the exhibition at the Getty Museum in 2010. Another type of art theft is theft by misappropriation. This is probably the most controversial kind of art theft because it's when a neighboring country conquers another neighboring country or city-states, confiscates all their art. It usually takes decades upon centuries to either return it or it's never returned. Advocates claim that the removal of the artifact is a pernicious form of cultural imperialism. Countries in defense of this claim state that the originating country is unstable and cannot properly care for the typically ancient artifacts. The image here, the portrait of a young man, was looted by the Germans and was later located in 2012. Egypt and Greece, or Egypt and many states of Rome and Greece are still in battle with retrieving a lot of their artwork that was taken out of the architraves in Rome. Currently, Yale University's Peabody Museum of Natural History has returned thousands of artifacts unearthed during Europeans' third excavation of Machu Picchu over 100 years ago. New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Getty Museum are also undergoing reparation talks with Italy and Greece. The Dallas Museum of Art and the Penn Museum, at the request of the Met, have recently returned a lot of paintings, a lot of pieces of art back to Turkey under an indefinite term loan. It's not a full return, they're just loaning it back to the original country indefinitely. That's nice of them. From 1933 to the end of World War II, the Nazi regime looted art for the purposes of selling or reappropriation to the museums in the Third Reich. Hundreds of valuable pieces stolen from Jews and other victims of the Holocaust were taken under the head of Luftwaffe, Hermann Göring. During World War II, when the Nazi regime started looting, it was the largest form of misappropriation that was seen since the overtaking of Greece and Rome. So here at the top, you have Hiram III, and he made several excavations of Machu Picchu and uncovered thousands of artifacts. The picture to the left is pottery generally used to carry oils and perfumes, and to the right is a bottle found in Machu Picchu. All of these objects are being returned back to a university in the city of Cusco. So how do you prevent that? How do you prevent art theft? The biggest thing is education. Educating your employees, educating your guards, educating your docents on what to look for, what happens to it. So just going through a couple of numbers here. So in 2010, approximately 5,000 art thefts were reported in 1 year. Since 2009, an estimated $6 billion worth of art has been reported. These target museums due to lack of economic freedom to properly protect the collection, especially in countries who are economically challenged. They don't have the measures to properly protect the collection within their own country. From 2003 to 2008, approximately 50,000 pieces per year were reportedly stolen by Interpol for a total of 300,000 pieces of art. The Dalí, just to put it to you in perspective, the Dalí has approximately 2,500 pieces in its entire collection. The Louvre displays 35,000 pieces of art, and this would be the equivalent of emptying the entire Philadelphia Museum of Art's collection. Art theft has risen to a $1 to $2 billion per year enterprise, which in turn causes insurance premiums to skyrocket. This picture here is a piece from Cezanne. It was stolen from a private residence in Boston in 1978 and was later recovered and sold at auction for $29.3 million. So after something is stolen, what typically happens to it? Unfortunately, a large portion of it is damaged or destroyed. After pieces are stolen, they're either stored in personal art collections, abandoned, and in most cases destroyed for fear of discovery. Things become too hot to hawk, and thieves get scared, and so they burn it or destroy it, and the piece is lost and gone forever. Less than 12% of stolen works are ever discovered. And oftentimes, even if it is discovered, it's very difficult to prosecute because the statute of limitations has already lapsed. So this is a piece, this is Poverty by Pablo Picasso, which was stolen in Manchester. The Whitworth Gallery's 3 paintings, works by Picasso, Gauguin, and Van Gogh, are often thought to have been damaged by heavy overnight rain when they were stolen. Detectives investigating the theft of about 1 million pounds of artwork from the Manchester Art Gallery recovered the stolen paintings following an anonymous phone call tip shortly after 2 a.m. on the morning of April 28, 2003. The artworks were found in a tube near a public toilet. So how do you prevent these things? Biggest thing, education. You can also securely hang artwork on the walls, as you've seen in the video clip from the Thomas Crown Fair, making it very difficult to just yank something off of the wall from a briefcase in my house front door. There's technology that exists nowadays that there's even a string tied to an alarm system from the painting to the wall, so when you pull the painting off the wall, it triggers an alarm. Surveillance, obviously lots and lots of cameras and all the technology that's involved around surveillance. Preventative architecture and traffic layout, there's been a lot of thefts in history just by people driving a car through a front window, grabbing and leaving in the car with the stolen piece. So even when a museum is laid out in terms of the traffic around the museum, putting up large barricades in front of windows, making it very difficult for a person to access the artwork and then leave. Biometrics, biometric recognition in terms of gaining access to secure art areas, vault access, things like that. And of course, the obvious, lots and lots of security guards. So here's a clip from an LG technology. It is iris recognition.
Hi, we're here at CES 2009. We're very excited to show the new LG Iris Access technology product, the iData Soho product. This is used in airports across the United States and Canada both for employee access control securely, as well as for customers who want to frequently pass through border checkpoints being securely and conveniently iris authenticated. The technology now is being brought to places like the health clubs. We have some high-end Equinox health clubs, for instance. Even daycare centers can use this technology now today. A very easy application to enroll people and identify them without the need to carry any keys, cards, or any type of passwords to be remembered. The iris recognition technology by LG's Iris Access products works by taking digital images of the iris, or the color part of your iris, color part of your eye. And each iris for everybody in the world is completely unique. Even the left iris and the right iris are different for everybody. With that color image technology and the camera technology, we can take that image and put it into a secure template and encrypt that either onto a card or into a database, which then when the person enrolls again or presents their iris to the camera, they will be positively identified and conveniently and securely authenticated to come in through the door. Well, it's great to be here at CES 2009, and the iris recognition product we're very excited about. But as the future comes forward now, look to see the Iris Access product come down into handheld type of applications and smaller modules that will make iris authentication ubiquitous throughout many applications we see here on the floor at CES. Those will be coming soon in the next few months and few quarters, moving out to CES 2010.
So let's go over some famous art heists throughout history. The Mona Lisa was stolen in 1911. This was actually stolen by three men on the morning of August 21st, 1911, two brothers, Vincenzo and Michele Lancelotti, and the ringleader Vincenzo Peruggia, who worked as a handyman at the Louvre. These three gentlemen hid in an art supply closet and in the early morning snuck out of the art supply closet, grabbed the painting, which weighed to over 200 pounds, and took it out of its frame, covered it in a blanket, and jumped on the 747 express train out of the city. The theft of this painting is what propelled it into its current fame of today. It wasn't very well known before it was stolen in 1911. 28 months after stashing the painting in a false bottom on the trunk of his house, Peruggia attempted to sell it to an art dealer in Florence. The buyer was suspicious because he heard of the theft, involved the police, and Peruggia was later arrested, but the now famed painting returned to the Louvre. Peruggia pled guilty and was sentenced to only 8 months in prison. Now, some art theft, especially high art theft, is speculated to be commissioned by a wealthy art protector. This had speculation that J.P. Morgan and Pablo Picasso were behind the art theft, and both of them were questioned. The panels from the Ghent altarpiece. 2 panels from the Ghent altarpiece were stolen in 1934. On the night of April 10th, and under the presumed thief, although he was never prosecuted, Arsène Gauthier. Gauthier removed the paintings at the St. Bravo Cathedral in Ghent in Belgium, and died on November 25th in 1934, stating that he would take the secret to his grave. He later tried to ransom the paintings off, and only 1 panel was recovered. The other panel is still missing and has never been recovered. Curator sent an anonymous letter asking for 1 million Belgian francs ransom, but unfortunately died before ever revealing the whereabouts of the other panel. So here in the top picture, you can see where one of the panels is missing, and in the bottom picture, you can see the full altarpiece on display. In the bottom picture, there is a painting where the panel is supposed to be missing, so it's quite possible that they had a reproduction done just so you could see the full panel on display. The Montreal Museum of Fine Arts suffered the largest art theft in Canadian history on September 4th, 1972. There was a man with picks on his boots, scaled a tree, and found a construction ladder laying around him, which allowed his 2 accomplices to join him on the roof. The thieves then later held 3 guards at gunpoint and made off with jewelry, figurines, and 18 paintings, including works by Delacroix, Gainsborough, and a rare Rembrandt landscape. The total estimated value of the looted pieces at that time were $2 million, or $10.9 million today. The works have never been recovered. The screen. This particular piece has been a target of many art thefts. It's been stolen twice, and there's been another reproduction similar to it done on temporary board, which was also stolen. On February 12, 1994, the screen was stolen from the National Gallery in Oslo, Norway, and held for $1 million ransom. The thieves for this particular theft left a note saying thanks for the poor security. It was later recovered in May 1994 under a sting operation coordinated with the Norwegian police, the British police, and the Getty Museum of Los Angeles. The thieves held the guards at gunpoint while they made out with the paintings to their car. A 1910 version of the screen was later stolen during the daylight hours on August 22nd, 2004, and there's video surveillance and photography of the actual thieves leaving the museum. This was stolen from the Munich Museum in Oslo, Norway, along with Munch's Madonna. 3 of the 6 men that were tried for the crimes were sentenced to between 4 to 6 years in prison in May 2006. The 2 paintings were later recovered on March 31st, 2006, with very minimal damage. The details of the discovery were never released, however, the gunman still remains at large. Norway, and especially Oslo, has suffered several art thefts. So if you want to steal art, in Brazil, a Dalí was stolen, along with 3 other pieces from the Museu de Chagara do Céu in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The gunman not only made off with the famous works of art, but emptied the museum's visitors of all of their jewelry, cash, wallets, everything. This was done during the day, during operating hours. The thieves all wielded guns. It was rumored that one thief even wielded a grenade when he was coming through. They grabbed everything and disappeared into a passing carnival parade after the heist. The paintings are still missing, and the thieves are still at large. So a Dalí was stolen. The Cartel de Dama Tenorio was stolen from the Venus over Manhattan Gallery in New York City. At the time that it was stolen, the gallery was only open for 10 months, so it's a 10-month-old gallery. The drawing was later mailed back to the gallery from Greece. Another famous Dalí that was stolen is tuna fishing. This was stolen from a private island off the coast of Marseille in France, from the Isle of Vendor. It was privately owned from the Paul Ricard Foundation. The thieves cut the painting out of its stretcher bars and made off with it by sea through the night. Just to put it to you in perspective, this painting is 12 feet by 14 foot and was valued at the time $200,000. The Curator upstairs takes about 4 people to move. So you can imagine what it would take in to cut this out, roll it out like a rug, and transport it by boat. It was missing for about a decade before it was recovered, and it was either, the facts on it are a little fuzzy, it was either turned up in an airport storage area or rolled up in an oil drum and was discovered by an anonymous tip. The thieves still remain at large, and this year's retrospective in the Pompidou was the first time it's ever been seen publicly since 1967. So you can't talk about art theft without talking about the Gardner heist. The Gardner heist is probably the most famous and largest heist in recorded history. It happened in Boston on March 18, 1990, and had 13 pieces of art were stolen. The thieves dressed up as Boston PD, banged on the door of the art museum and said, "Police, we've got a report for robbery, let us in." The security guards let them in, why wouldn't you? And the thieves tied up the security guards in an upstairs area with duct tape and stole 13 works of art valued at over $500 million. The theft entirely lasted 81 minutes. Several empty frames still hang in the Dutch room as homage to the theft. The pieces have never been recovered. A $5 million reward is still out there for the recovery of these pieces. The FBI claims it knows the identity of the thieves, however, no arrests have ever been made. And there are speculations that this particular heist was a commissioned heist by a private art collector, or it was done by an East Coast crime organization. So these are some of the images that were taken from the Gardner Museum. They're very particular on their theft. Rembrandt's pieces from Vermeer, the landscape of an obelisk, here's a Manet, and one of the Degas pieces. So very, very well-known works of art. So just to wrap things up, if you go, the FBI has a list of reported stolen art pieces on its database that are still missing. And under Dalí alone, there's over 70 pieces of missing artwork reported, just of Dalí. And we still continue the search. I'd like to thank Joan Croft for the guidance and support during this process, and also our Director of Security, Dave Brasilia. So, does anybody have any questions?
Anything been stolen from the collection here in St. Petersburg, either at this location?
At this location, no.
Probably not. Probably the other location.
The other location, nothing has ever been stolen out of our collection.
That sounds like a hedge dance. It's not stolen there, but it's not Dalí.
No, we tout ourselves on a very high level of security. All the guards here are very well trained, and actually most of our guards have extensive experience in military and law enforcement background. So they're very, very adept at their jobs of profession. Anybody have any other questions?
The one that was stolen from our old museum and was recovered. Do you know what it was that led to the recovery?
I'm not authorized to talk about details of that. I don't have that level of security clearance, but it was recovered in recovery of artwork. If your insurance, this is what I found, if your insurance pays for the recovered artwork and they later find the artwork, you don't get it back. You don't get the artwork back. It belongs to the insurance company because they have paid you for the artwork that's stolen. So they own it. Yeah. So anybody trying to save their own artwork does.
Two questions. One, if you pay the insurance company back the settlement money, will they then return it?
That's a good question. I guess it would be based upon whatever the insurance company does with it. If they turn around and auction it off for their own profit, or if there's a deal that can be done with that.
And secondly, in terms of forgeries, would you say Dalí is probably the most forged artist of the 20th century?
If not the most forged, one of the most forged. Pieces from Rowe, Chagall, even Picasso. You really have to be careful and ask lots and lots of questions. Ask for the provenance. Where did you get it? Where did the gallery or where did the area, the business selling the piece get it? Do you have documentation to back it up? Doing your research on that documentation. Doing your research on the business that's selling it. I mean, you really have to be careful and know what you're talking about when you're buying things like this. Anybody else? Okay.
That